Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's portion of the Executive Innovation Show, the Knowledge Nugget. We're going to be talking about a very hot topic today. We're going to be talking about the HIPAA waiver, the Telehealth Waiver, and what's next. So, we've been getting a lot of calls, we've been getting a lot of questions of the HIPAA waiver that was brought in during COVID with the Trump executive orders, and it's due to expire here at the end of December, just in a few weeks. Has a lot of people scrambling. There's a lot of articles going on about it, and so we're going to break it down today of what we know, what we think is going to happen, and what you need to do about it. So first, the HIPAA compliance was temporarily lifted in the middle of COVID, so people could use FaceTime, people could use Skype, Zooms of the world, Google Duo, things like that, in order to keep patients safe and at home. It was never meant to be a permanent solution. They knew the industry as a whole, everybody couldn't right out of the gate get a telehealth solution in place. It took some people longer time than others to get in place. So it was always meant to be a temporary solution. Now, a lot of practices, a lot of healthcare organizations took those temporary solutions and kind of ran with it, knowing that at some point they would hope that it would get extended, which it originally did. And where does that leave today? So there's a lot of articles. We're going to link a few in this podcast of people talking about what you need to really be thinking about for that long-term solution. So if you're currently using a solution like a Skype, like a FaceTime, like a Google Duo, or you're even doing audio only, you might be running into reimbursement issues. That's a whole other podcast. But those are not HIPAA compliant. Unless you have that BAA, unless it's, a HIPAA compliant telehealth solution, you need to start looking for that longer term solution and seamlessly transition to the new normal. So now that patients are used to doing telehealth, they're demanding it, they're wanting to do it, and people are still afraid to go to medical appointments or follow-up appointments. Volume continues to be down. This is the new normal that you have to adhere to. A lot of physicians have really liked doing video telehealth as they're working from home, or it's helping with work-life balance. So this new world we live in, it's here to stay. And what percentage of fashion of physical appointments versus virtual, we don't know, but we know that the volume's gone up, 500%, 4,000%, depending upon who you believe. However, you have to comply with the HIPAA compliance for your telehealth platform, or the violations are $50,000 per occurrence. They can add up really fast, and it can open up Pandora's box for them to look across your organization for other violations. It's not a spot you want to be in. So you really need to look at, how to implement a telehealth program that complies, and start to look at that transition now. Is there going to be, some leniency for a period of time? We don't know. But what we do know is a lot of people, a lot of the government organizations, everybody's saying now that, hey, you have till the end of December to get that into place. So if your healthcare organization, if your practice, if your facility, whatever, is using a solution right now that you're unsure if it's HIPAA compliant, if you're not paying for it, it's probably not HIPAA compliant. And if you're using that solution, you really need to have a game plan of that transition, and how to get there, and get the right solution in place, not only for the safety of your practice, but the safety of the patients. A lot of HIPAA and PHI for the waivers has been, not only putting patients at harm too. The HIPAA waiver, the telehealth waiver, was really to keep patients safe and at home and get practices there faster. However, most of your larger practices never went with non-HIPAA compliant solutions because they didn't want to go with video conferencing and have patients running into each other, and make it look bad because patients just won't accept that. So to read more, we've got some links, and stay tuned. We're going to be doing additional podcasts on the virtual workflow. what to really expect in this virtual world as we're seeing more state shutdowns. So pay attention, and as always, subscribe to get your weekly shows delivered. And leave us some comments of what burning questions you have going on in this time, and we will address those. As always, this is the Knowledge Nugget edition of the Executive Innovation Show, and stay tuned.